Imagine having individual treatment and drug therapy that is made to fit each individual person's genetic makeup. Imagine being able to easily find hereditary risks before the person with the risk realizes that it happened, just by looking at the basic parts of a cell. Imagine companies advertising machines that can decode an entire human genome and tell you about any potential health risks just by using a swab of saliva. Imagine being able to mimic the molecular biology of a human disease in an animal. What if I told you that this was real? And it's happening right now, or will be happening in the near future. Mind-blowing, right? It seems that way, but the reasoning behind it is very simple, and is attributed to one type of science called genomics. Genomics is the study of genomes. Genomes are the double-stranded DNA helix that basically defines who we are. Personalized, predictive, targeted are all words that describe genomics. Genomics' main focus is to see how the genetic code we inherit, gene variations, and the environment we live in affect how and if we get different diseases. An easier way to explain it is by relating it to a restaurant. Pretend the burgers represent people, and the recipes represent genomes. Say there's a burger restaurant, and this restaurant has a secret recipe for its burgers. Then one day, there's a new cook, and the burgers start tasting bad, but no one knows why, because both the old cook and the new cook use the same recipe for their burgers. So the old cook comes and looks at how the new cook is making his burgers. From observing what ingredients the new cook put in the burger, the old cook concluded that the new cook was using too much lettuce. Now, let's translate that into how it would work in genomics. The bad burgers are like people who end up having diseases. The secret recipe is like the basic genomes that we usually see in most people that don't have these diseases. When the new cook looks at the bad burgers and observes what's going wrong with it, is like how genomic scientists look at the genomes of people with diseases to find out why they have those diseases. Let's talk about one of the major areas that genomics has helped in, which is cancer. Some major discoveries in cancer that has been because of genomics is that now oncologists can look at your genes and find if you test positive for a mutation in any of your genes. This means that they can find a way to cure your cancer before it even starts. Oncologists also have learned how to figure out which mutations in cancer have happened and then target directly at the cancer just by looking at the abnormal gene structure of a patient. Now, there's also a genomic test called Oncotype DX that looks at a group of genes and sees how active that group is, which tells us how the cancer will grow and respond to the treatment. What we've done with cancer already might be amazing, but imagine what we can do in the future. There are already projects hoping to look at types of cancer at a molecular level, giving a more targeted way to track cancer mutations. There are studies being made to understand which patterns in a gene within a tumor tells us a response to finding cancer therapy or how likely it is for cancer to return. The Genome Project, which finished in 2003, sequenced a human genome, and that itself took 15 years and $3 billion in cost. It is hopefully going to be used as a reference as a healthy human for comparison to the genomes of people with diseases, which means the next step is figuring out how people with cancer have genomes different than the first reference sequence. And that requires looking at genomes of thousands of people to spot the changes. That's going to take a long time. Just finding one genome took 15 years and $3 billion in cost. Imagine thousands. That's not the only step, though. There's one more step to get to the price of finding a cure for cancer, and that is finding out how the different genetic components of cancer fit together. Even then, the drugs made might not work, and the process will probably be repeated a couple times, but either find a specific drug that works to cure cancer, or they use different drugs to defeat cancer. But in a 25-year span, it just might work. We're still at the starting points of these huge projects, and we're already changing the field of genomics. I cannot wait to see what else we change in the world. Imagine the life-changing discoveries we'll find in the near future.